Have you ever seen someone judge a person just by their clothes, only to realize too late who they truly were? Today's story will shock you, because when a proud millionaire slapped a simple woman in front of everyone, he had no idea who was about to walk through that door next. Stay till the end, you won't believe what happened when her husband arrived. And hey, if you love stories that teach kindness and life lessons, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Goodness Corner right now, where every story reminds you that real worth isn't measured by money, but by heart. The morning sunlight spilled through the tall glass windows of the Grand Monarch Hotel, the most luxurious place in the city, where chandeliers glittered like captured stars and every corner whispered wealth. It was the kind of place where only the elite walked with confidence, where diamonds sparkled more than smiles, and where waiters bowed deeper than necessary. Among the crowd that day stood Mr. Richard Hales, a self-made millionaire known for his arrogance more than his success. He believed money gave him power, power to control, to command, to humiliate. Dressed in his expensive navy blue suit, he strutted through the lobby with his assistant trailing behind, shouting orders, dismissing people like they were invisible. But then, something caught his eye, or rather, someone. A simple woman stood near the reception desk, clutching a small paper bag and an old purse. Her dress was plain, faded at the edges, and her shoes had clearly seen better days. Her hair was tied loosely, and her face carried that quiet tiredness of someone who had seen more struggle than rest. She was waiting patiently, eyes filled with calm, the kind that comes not from wealth, but from inner peace. "Excuse me, miss," Richard said sharply, walking toward her. "You're standing in the VIP lane. Move aside." The woman blinked, confused but polite. "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was just told to wait here by the manager. I'm here to meet someone." Her voice was soft, respectful, but that wasn't enough for Richard. He smirked. "Someone? Here. Do you even know what this place costs? People like you can't afford to meet someone here. You must be mistaken." A few guests turned to look. The air shifted, whispers began to ripple through the lobby. But the woman didn't argue. She simply smiled faintly and said, "I'm sure there's been no mistake. I'll wait." That smile, that calmness, somehow made Richard angrier. To him, it felt like defiance. How dare she not tremble? How dare she not move when he, the millionaire everyone admired, told her to? His assistant whispered, "Sir, maybe let it go." But Richard didn't listen. He stepped closer, his face inches from hers. "I said move," he barked. When she didn't, he did something that silenced the entire room. He raised his hand, and slapped her. The sound echoed through the lobby like a thunderclap. The woman staggered back, her cheek burning red, her eyes wide, not in anger, but in disbelief. The paper bag she was holding fell, scattering its contents, a small box of chocolates, a handmade greeting card, and a single rose wrapped in paper. For a moment, time froze. Even the waiters stopped moving. Then came the murmurs. Did he just hit her? Oh my God. She looks so simple, maybe she's staff. No, she said she was waiting for someone. But Richard stood tall, chest puffed with self-righteousness. "That's what happens when people forget their place," he said coldly. "Next time, don't walk where you don't belong." The woman slowly bent down, picking up the crushed rose and the small box with trembling hands. She said nothing. Not a word. Not a tear. Her silence spoke louder than any insult could. One of the receptionists, clearly uncomfortable, approached Richard hesitantly. "Yes, sir, she was on the guest list. Room 904, under the name Mrs. Evelyn." "Guest list?" Richard scoffed. "Impossible. Someone must have made a mistake. People like her don't belong here." But the receptionist looked terrified. "Sir, it's confirmed. Her name is Mrs. Evelyn Cross." The moment that name was spoken, a hush fell over the room. Evelyn Cross. Even the assistant froze. That name was known, though rarely seen in public. Evelyn Cross, the wife of Alexander Cross, the billionaire philanthropist and founder of Cross Industries, one of the most powerful companies in the world. The same Alexander Cross whose signature could move markets, whose face appeared on magazine covers next to world leaders. Richard's face went pale, but before he could speak, the elevator doors opened with a soft chime. And out stepped Alexander Cross himself. Tall, poised, and radiating quiet strength, Alexander walked in wearing a simple gray suit, not flashy, but commanding. His eyes immediately found Evelyn, standing there with her hand on her cheek, clutching a wilted rose. His expression changed. The air turned electric. Every person in that lobby felt the weight of his presence. Even the guards at the door straightened unconsciously. Evelyn. Alexander's voice was calm, but his eyes burned. He stepped forward, gently touching her cheek. Who did this? Evelyn hesitated. She didn't want to cause a scene. It's fine, Alex. Just a misunderstanding. But before she could say more, Richard stammered out, Sir, Mr. Cross. I didn't know. Alexander turned slowly toward him. You didn't know? His voice was calm, dangerously calm. You mean, you didn't know you were assaulting my wife? Richard's lips moved, but no words came. Sweat trickled down his forehead. His arrogance dissolved like ice under sunlight. Alexander's security team stepped forward instantly. Sir, should we? Alexander raised his hand to stop them. No. Let everyone here witness what pride and cruelty look like when faced with truth. He turned to Richard, his eyes sharp. You see, my wife doesn't dress to impress anyone. She believes kindness is more valuable than luxury. While you flaunt your wealth to feel powerful, she uses hers to feed the poor, build homes, and sponsor education for children you'd never even look at. The crowd was silent. Alexander continued, his voice rising slightly. And today, you raised your hand against the very person whose charity foundation saved hundreds from bankruptcy, including your own assistant's father. Richard's assistant gasped, covering his mouth. The color drained from Richard's face completely. He tried to speak, but Alexander stepped closer. You slapped my wife for being simple. Remember this, Mr. Hales, simplicity is not weakness. It is strength without arrogance. Evelyn touched Alexander's arm gently. Please, let it go. He doesn't deserve our anger. Alexander nodded softly, still holding her close. Then he looked around the room. Let this be a reminder to everyone here. Never judge someone by their clothes or their silence. You never know who they truly are, or what kind of heart they carry. With that, he led Evelyn toward the elevator, holding her hand tightly. The guests stepped aside quietly, their eyes filled with respect and shame. Richard stood frozen, his hand trembling, realizing that the empire he was so proud of suddenly meant nothing. In that moment, his millions couldn't save him from the humiliation of his own actions. The elevator doors closed with a soft ding, leaving behind a silence so heavy, it felt like judgment itself. And in that silence, everyone finally understood the difference between being rich and being worthy. Weeks later, the same hotel held a charity gala, organized by none other than Evelyn Cross. This time, she arrived hand in hand with Alexander, dressed simply yet glowing with grace. Across the hall stood Richard Hales, humbled and quiet. He walked up to her, eyes wet, and whispered, I'm sorry. Evelyn smiled gently. Forgiveness is free, Mr. Hales. Use your wealth to help, not to hurt. The crowd applauded softly, moved by her heart.